Okay, so moving on to a cast on stitch. Now this is great for building flowers, but it does take a little bit of practice to get the technique right. So you need a decent amount of thread, and you need to come quite close to where you started from, and then back really at the same hole. So you're only doing a 3 or 4 millimeter stitch, and then you need to start casting on your stitches. So hang on to your thread, grip it in 2 fingers and twist to make a loop, and then put the loop on, twist, and then cast it on, twist, cast it on. So this is technically it's a blanket stitch, but you're kind of reversing it. You're putting it onto the needle rather than onto the fabric. So same technique, so 2 fingers, twist, and onto the needle. Helps if you've got a good long needle for this, which is something to put the thread on so it doesn't peel itself away. So for a nice flower petal you want about 3 times the length of your stitch, you can't see, going on to your needle. Yep. And focusing what you're doing so you don't end up putting the cast on in the middle of your stitch. Okay. One more. So 2 fingers, grip it, twist it, and stick it on the needle like that. So now, you can't see, okay, yeah. So I'm going to grip my stitches, pull the needle through, and then tug it down until the end sits flush and stitch down. I went a little bit crazy. Let's do another one. This is a complicated technique. Once you get it down, you can create a nice flower by just arranging these around. So I'm going to come in quite close to my first one, and then stitch about 3 or 4 millimeters behind it, and then come up right next to my first stitch, like that. And then take hold of the thread, twist, and plant it on the needle. Take hold, twist, plant it on the needle, like that. Now, depending on how wide the gap is and how many twists you add, you can create some really nice full flowers. So this is one you kind of need to experiment with. And if you start with a darker colour and gradually get lighter, or vice versa, then you can create real depth in your flowers. The issue with this is that your thread does get very twisted and liable to run away with itself and not on its own. So just bear that in mind, and every now and again just kind of release it so it loses its twist. So I've got my stack of loops on my needle here, so just pinch the top of that to hold it in place, pull through, and then guide it down into place, and then stitch that down. So I've just done 2 nice short ones, but if you do more of those you can build up a nice selection of petals. If you need to, you can put in another extra stitch just to hold them flat, Normally as you build it up you don't need to, because it's just they're being held out by the weight of the previous. So that's a cast on stitch. And yeah, so that's the cast on stitch. I'm going to continue on with the casting on stuff tomorrow.